Kol Yisrael, v'himru, amen. V'yaseh shalom, shalom aleichem, v'yakol.
Citizens of the great state of Tennessee are calling on our government leaders to stand united with Israel until Israel has eliminated the terrorist infrastructure on their soil. In 1962, then President John F. Kennedy was faced with a similar situation as the leaders of Israel. Under threat of a missile attack on the U.S. from Castro in Cuba, President Kennedy and our leaders in Congress were firm in their resolve to attack Cuba before they rained missiles down on Florida. A recent poll of Palestinians indicated that 86% of Palestinians favor missile attacks against Israel. No man can endure such a neighbor who wants to kill them and drive them into the sea.
Because if we don't stand up for Israel, who will? Who stood up for us 60 years ago in Europe? Who stood up for us then? And as recently as this past Thursday night, who stood up for us and stood against the United Nations resolution calling on Israel to cease its operation of breaking down the terrorist infrastructure in Gaza? No one stood up, not even our own United States. But the push toward moral equivalency does not lead anybody toward peace. Israel does not preach hatred in its schools. Its textbooks do not dehumanize Palestinian children. Judaism and Christianity do not embrace death. We honor and respect life of all human beings. Calling on Israel to lay down its arms before destroying the evil terrorist infrastructure will not lead to peace. Defending a government who is committed to wiping Israel and the Jews off the face of the map will not lead to peace. Criticizing Israel for using disproportionate measures and waging this war is dishonest and will not lead to peace.
No people can be expected to restrain themselves in the face of relentless terror.
That's right. That's right.
And yet Israel has. Israel builds shelters, while Hamas shelters terrorists.
Has there ever before been a military campaign waged by guerrilla fighters, terrorists, or soldiers where the game plan has been focused on maximizing their own civilian casualties to win a media war?
May it never happen again. May Christians never lie down again. We must stand. To my Jewish brothers, I ask for your forgiveness for my people for many years. I ask you to embrace us, and I promise you I will show you by my life that I am your brother.
Michael's going to give us a couple minutes. Michael, please help me welcome Michael Hines.
You know, as followers of Jesus, as Christians gathered here today, many of us, we're called to be the salt of the earth and the light of the world. Jesus said, you are the salt of the earth, but if the salt loses its flavor, then how can it be made salty again? Salt is a really powerful thing, as we all know. A little bit of salt can make a huge difference to your dinner. A little bit of salt can stop the corrosion of food rotting. For thousands of years we've used salt to stop our food being destroyed by the processes of nature. Today we may not be that many people here, but we are the salt of the earth. It doesn't take many people to stop the corrosion of the misinformation, the deception, and the lies that we're seeing on our TV screens. It doesn't take many people to stand up and speak some sense and some justice and some truth into a world of lies that we find ourselves surrounded in. And that's why we're here today. We're here to represent Christians all across the earth. Our organization, the International Christian Embassy Jerusalem, has offices in over 80 nations of the world. We represent Christians on every continent of the earth. Wherever Christians have a Bible, they know that there is a land called Israel. They know that there is a people called the Jewish people. And they know that God loves them, has a destiny for them, and a plan for their salvation. So we stand here on behalf not just of ourselves here in Nashville today, we stand here representing millions of Christians around the world that know Israel, that love Israel, and will not be silent while the land of Israel is under continual assault by the weapons, the arrows, the bombs, the guns, the suicide bombers, and the missiles of the terrorists that surround them. So we thank you for this opportunity today. We thank you for the chance to be here together, recognizing that together we are called to be the salt and the light in this place. When we switch on our TV channels every day, we recognize that we are called to be the salt and the light that brings truth into the darkness that we find ourselves around. We see a world that is rotting because it no longer understands the truth, the things that we find self-evident, the things that we've heard these other speakers talk about. We see a world that no longer believes in right and wrong, in black and white, in good and evil. And we're here today to say that that is not the truth. There is good and there is evil. There is right and there is wrong. And we stand for the right of the Jewish people to live in a land of their own in peace and security. That's why we're here.
Shalom, Shalom Aleichem, V'Yaakov Yisrael, Shalom. Let's hear it for these former members of the Israeli Defense Forces.